right, so welcome to Soul Tribe Channel. My name is Nikki, and this is Tracy, and we are speaking to Maria and Lydia tonight from the Twin Flames Lifestyle on Instagram. Please look that up.
And so you guys are, I guess what we really want to know is how you guys realized you were twin flames, and did you know what twin flames were before you met?
Say that first question one more time.
Did you guys know what twin flames were before you met?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what was the other half?
And
we'll stick with the first
one.
We'll
stick with the first one.
Okay.
So basically, when did you guys learn about what a twin flame was?
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about what a twin flame was until she brought it up to me. Well, so I didn't know anything either. And I shouldn't say that. I had heard of a twin flame one other time from literally just like an Instagram post. I mean, I am in self-help. So I'm like in all kinds of like self-help accounts, and I had come across like a twin flame post, and I read it for, I remember, 1 second, and then moved on and was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't care. And that was probably a year before I really realized who Maria was to me. And we both had so many things happen between us that it was like, go Google this, because this is like overwhelmingly obvious. Like, like something's happening and we're not sure what it is, and we need to find out. Yeah, right now, this is crazy. Yeah, it was like scary things. Like we were having the mind reading stuff was insane.
Yeah, the telepathy between the twins, right?
Yes, exactly. And so we were both forced to look into what was happening, because it was like, this is super abnormal. So
it's bigger than you are.
It's out of
this
world.
Did you find that it's bigger than you are?
Absolutely, very much. Absolutely, very much. It's bigger than you feel like you are, but then you realize that you are it, and then you're like, oh, duh, I should just do that, because that would make me really happy. That's how I think about it.
Were you guys spiritual in any sense before you met, or?
Sure, I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
Which I think it's like a stereotype that one person isn't, because I was. Yeah. And when I was in contact with her, I was becoming more spiritual outside of our, before we knew we were twin flames. I was becoming more spiritual. I had taken a Reiki course, gotten Reiki certified. Yeah. After I had met her, and then I had also I was just reading tons of Abraham Hicks stuff, totally diving in. I'm a huge Abraham Hicks fan.
The vortex.
And she knew none of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, you knew none of it. Yeah, no, I didn't know any of it.
So I'm assuming, because usually in these connections, one is more empathic, more heart space, and they have to do the healing work first, and then one is more mind space. I mean, there's different varying levels between every connection.
Yes.
But it's usually one's a bit more empathic and one's a little bit more in their mind, their fear.
Yes. Right. I think I'm the more mind one, probably. Yes, most definitely. She cries about everything. I do. Yeah. I mean, if a baby bird gets falls out of a tree, she cries for a couple of days.
Yeah. So. Animals really connect with you, right? Do you find there's a connection? You really connect to animals, Maria? They come to you almost?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah. Very typical.
Yeah. So have you guys interviewed a lot of other twin flames?
Well, there's one other twin flame that we interviewed on the show, and hers was pretty much in the beginning stages. She had just met this connection and was having some very intense visions and dreams, and this connection that she had met had dreamt of her before the meeting.
She was the author, right?
Yeah.
She was from the UK. She was
from the UK, an author.
Wrote a book.
Yeah, but...
Wow, that's incredible. Wow.
And hers was more volatile.
Say that again?
Hers was a volatile relationship. There's some of these twin flames, there's a runner. There's one that's right? They trigger each other, and they don't get together. Some of them are more
sometimes
volatile.
A few lifetimes, right? Before it's not always in this lifetime that twins come into union.
Right. Mine helped me realize darker, good aspects of myself that I didn't know about. And I'm grateful that he introduced that to me because I didn't know about it. So, when you kind of embrace your shadow self, I think you really, really embrace who you really are.
Absolutely.
That's the beginning of knowing who you really are. And that's what mine was an actual catalyst to a whole spiritual journey, mine.
Wow.
But he's not around right now, but he created the catalyst to everything that changed for me. My whole world changed after that completely.
Totally. That's how I feel. Yeah, and everything flipped upside down.
Completely.
So, and it was a very short amount of time for us. We had it was speedy quick. We realized who we were essentially, and in December, the end of December, beginning of January, and it's the end of August now, and we have just done work. I mean, because when twin souls come together, they still have trauma between the both of them to heal and to work on. That creates that runner-chaser dynamic. Yep. And we both were just like, hell no. Like, we're going to do it. We're not running. We're just going to do it fearlessly. And
we do therapy all day.
I mean, it's been really, really hard. Yeah. Really hard. Yeah. I mean, we're talking like sometimes not sleeping. Talking.
Physically sick.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We get sometimes. Because of the ascension process is really quick, that she throws up quite a bit. Honestly. I won't, because she's physical. She's the divine masculine. So she experiences more of the body physical sensations.
Right.
Where I will be doing, I don't want to say emotional, because we both do that, but I have the more logical, emotional piece of it. So, but we're feeling like we're really close to the end of processing a lot of big healing stuff and releasing some attachments. So.
Well, when twin flames actually come together, they do big work. You guys do big work when they actually work together. They do big work in the world, right? That's a big deal.
Yeah. That's what we hope.
You're setting yourselves up for some big.
Yeah,
I know. In the future.
Well, and that's why we were so excited that you guys reached out to us, because this is we are we're just ready. We feel like we're just ready to share our story and tell people about the intenseness that this has been, and really launch whatever that work is, that healing for others.
So you guys met in, did you say 2017? Was it that?
Yes. October? Yeah. No, we met in October. I think, was it?
Yes, no, it was October.
October 2017. And and then all the way to November of 2018. Mm-hmm. So about a year and a half before we came together.
Okay, and what was the initial meeting like when you first met each other?
Oh, yeah. So,
she was my therapist for a year and a half.
Right.
And
how did you find me?
Online.
Psychology
Today. That's how we met.
I love Psychology Today.
Okay, so did you have a post in there?
Do you blog?
An ad in there?
No?
No, so I was working as a therapist, and you can just have an account on Psychology Today.
Okay.
People looking for a therapist will come and see you and find you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I just happened to choose her to reach out to. So.
You should tell them the dream that you had when you first started.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm getting the chills.
So
when I first started seeing her, probably within the 3 months of having one therapy session a week, I had a dream that I died in front of her office. And so when you walk in, you could either go downstairs to where her office was, or you could go upstairs to this other, some design place. Yeah. And in my dream, I died on, right at the stairs walking in, and she walked up the stairs, and then me and her walked up, and we were kind of translucent, and we had wings, and
it was like a rebirth.
Yeah, and we were floating on clouds, and we hugged each other, and a voice inside of my head and loudly was like, "You guys are like sisters in heaven."
Yeah.
And I didn't know like what that dream was, and I was really confused, and I didn't tell her because I was like, that is so strange.
And I wouldn't have been ready for that either.
Yeah,
I would
I
have
was
been
like, this is my therapist, and I had this dream, and I'm not sure why. And when I like first met her, I like felt like I already knew her, and
Very much.
I felt really, really at home, and I was like, I don't get this. And then I had this dream, and then I had a second dream that I was standing in the middle of the street, and it was dark out, and it was raining, and there was like this circle light coming from the sky, and these beams shot down. And I like went up into this light, into the sky, and I saw these 4 men, and they all had on just like these white outfits that tied, and she came walking up from behind them, and she had like a halo and a headband with like flowers and stuff, and that was really...
That's crazy.
It was a crazy dream, and I didn't tell her because I was like, I don't know like what this is and why I had this dream. We had not realized like what had been happening yet, but that was like 3 months into me seeing her as a client.
Yeah,
So.
and I didn't know anything about those until we figured it out, and then all of the truths came out between what weird things we had happened.
Was there any dreams that kind of were synchronistic, where you were both having similar dreams, or anything like that?
I didn't really have any dreams, and I think I've not been really a big dreamer until probably more recently. Probably the past couple months. The past like 3 months, I've really started to dream. So I wonder if that was like a block for me, that I like didn't have like a lot of open-mindedness to dreaming. I mean, getting answers that way. But synchronicities, we had a lot of like things happen in the physical where, I mean, text messages, phone calls that we knew were going to happen.
Yeah.
Finishing conversations and sentences.
Finishing each other's words.
Knowing what the other person's going to say.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any dreams that were the same.
Yeah.
Wish I did. I did have, when I realized she was my twin, I did have a voice that said to me, like, this is your twin. I did have a voice come and tell me that it was. I was in the shower after one of our sessions, and I heard this because I was trying to figure it out. I was like, what the hell is going on? Who are you? Why am I obsessed with you? Like, and it wasn't romantic at all during that point. I mean, I really was like, okay, well, you're a client, and I mean, totally like boundaries. And I was like, why am I like so infatuated with like your story though? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. And then this voice came to me and was like, this is your twin flame. And I fell to the ground in the shower and cried because I was like, do you know what I have to do now? Like, this means like I have to give up everything that I think that I know right now, because I'm not going to say no to this. Like, I have to be done being a therapist. I have to quit my job. I have to surrender to this. And I was like, oh shit. And that was the time I heard the voice. Not a dream, but I heard the voice.
Yeah. It's pretty courageous. That takes courage.
Yeah.
Jumping off a cliff there that you can't go back.
Oh yeah. Once you go, you can't unknow.
You can't unknow it.
So basically, when you meet this twin connection, you start to live your divine purpose. So anything that wasn't true to yourself starts to shut away, right? So is that what made you shift all those things in your life?
Say that again. Once you start living through your twin, you drop away the things that are...
Yeah, so
that no longer serve you. Like you're saying you're a psychologist, but are you have you continued your practice, or?
So I was working in private practice as a marriage and family therapist, and I had only been out about a year. I was in a private practice setting, and I didn't have a ton of clients, and I was already feeling like, oh man, there are a lot of rules that I don't really agree with. There are a lot of ethics that I don't understand why we follow. I don't like the paperwork. Why do we do this? Like, it was just a lot of extra stuff that I felt like I didn't agree with as a person. And then on top of that, the number one rule is that you can never date a client that you've seen at any point in time. So, perfect. Thanks for showing up, Twin Flame.
Right. Okay.
So, I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave licensure, and before she showed up, then when she did, I left the licensure process, and now I identify as a life coach and a healer and a Reiki master, and I still work with people just in a different capacity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's okay, Dr. Phil gave up his license.
Yeah,
He did give it up.
He doesn't give people very nice advice, though.
No, but for some reason, he didn't align with it. So just saying a lot of people don't align with the
constriction.
Yeah, all the regulations and everything. So he's not my type of person, but even he's decided no. Because he's very open-minded, though. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And that's what twin flames do. I mean, when you come into your twin, it's like your relationship forces yourself and others to see where the red lines are, where the bird cages are in these dynamics that we have. And so when that clicked, I was like, oh yeah, I see it. I mean, that sounds easier than it actually felt when it happened, but
it really puts you on the path of your highest life purpose and really only living in your truth, right?
Right.
Was it easy?
Right. Yes. Yes. Thanks for getting it.
Yes. No, that's really validating.
Don't get it.
Yeah. Did you find the initial stages easy, or did you find it really hard? Like, what were your challenges?
The initial stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Like coming together?
There was definitely challenges for sure.
Ask her.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were there obstacles or challenges you had to overcome?
The initial coming together.
Yeah, mainly like you dropping your licensure and like giving that up was probably the hardest. I had a really easy time. The only reason I had a hard time was watching you have a hard time because I was all for it, and I think coming together was probably like the easiest part for me.
Yeah.
And the hardest for you because I kind of just sat back and was waiting for you to like catch up and be ready.
Yeah.
Like the entire time I was like, come on, like it is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I struggled really, really hard with that. I mean, I didn't want to leave the house. I was just like, I will stay home. I will stay in my bed where no one can see me.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, a really hard time.
Literally just cooking in shame. I mean, I felt so bad. And I would say it's only been probably recent that some of that has sloughed off. But
there's still some.
but I mean, that initial first time was like, this is like, I'm mind blown, like with how bad I feel and, you know, what are all these people going to think, and how do I overcome this? But knowing that I could at the same time, I think that was a big thing. Yeah,
I was so floaty that I barely remember it. I was so floaty.
Floaty in love.
Yes, like my whole body was on fire.
Yeah.
My head was on fire. My chest was on fire. I was melting out of my chair. Like there was a few times I would like look at her and I'd be like, I cannot look at you because this is such an intense feeling.
But it wasn't until after we talked, right? After we like together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was right after we came together. It was really hard. I couldn't even be in the same room as her because I was melting on fire.
Had you always had? Was that the first time you actually heard something when you were in the shower? The clear audience. Was that your first experience with that kind of gift?
So I had before I think I even started seeing, before we even knew each other, I had discovered that when I smoked a little bit of marijuana, that I suddenly felt like, okay, yes, everyone knows, smoke weed, it really helps you if you are trying to channel. Okay? Yeah. If you're trying to avoid your problems, that's not a good thing.
No, it helps.
Yes, so I had smoked, and I literally felt a ring around my head.
Yeah, I get that a lot too.
Tingling, and it was so like undeniable. And I already knew about chakras, and I was like, okay, now I'm tuned into it because when you're high, you can focus on things a little bit differently. And I was focusing on this tingly feeling, and it grew and it grew, and then I started to just get these waves of information. I mean, lots of thought about therapy things because I'm obsessed with like relationships and I'm obsessed with like understanding dynamics. But I realized later I was channeling energy. I was channeling like what happens in energetic dynamics when people are talking to each other, and how do we swap like thoughts and bids and words, and is it negative or positive? I was seeing all these things, and I was like, oh, I'm like really smart at my job. I didn't realize it was channeling.
Right.
I had, and I think that's how a lot of people come into
Yes.
it. Mistaken, yeah. Are you guys both? Do you guys both feel like you're Claire or something? Claire, audience. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
A little bit of everything.
That's awesome.
Actually. I get the dreams. I get the feels,
Mm-hmm.
chills.
Mm-hmm.
I get the body stuff, but I get the dreaming. Especially this year, it happened to me. There was a lot, but I do a lot of yoga, and I found in the last 2 years with yoga and Reiki, I did Reiki 1 and 2, and then I did another alchemy Reiki.
Yeah.
But that, when you're doing all that kind of work, like things start to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like you start to shift. Some weeks are okay and normal, and then you're up against a new challenge. Like I just noticed, I feel like yoga really changed my vibration.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's some classes I take, and I'm crying, and others that I'm like, I'm in the flow. It's just unbelievable. But I notice with that comes all the other sensitivities or things change. Your consciousness changes. Right?
And I think that's all it really is being aware and being conscious. Everyone is receiving these messages, but it's
tuning
how
in.
open are you and tuning in and clearing the blockages, because a lot of times we're not realizing it because those chakras are blocked.
Yes.
Fears and anxieties, and that's, what's happening. A lot of people are on those low vibrations, creating those karmic loops, right? And the twin connection breaks you out of those loops, a fast track chakra cleanse, basically. So, there's a lot of...
You had a lot of fire. This one, Maria had a lot of... She was on fire. Like Kundalini.
We are.
Real on fire.
Yeah, for
Now
sure. But you're speaking it.
Lydia heard the term twin flame.
Yes.
Now, so were you the one that recognized what this connection was called first?
Yeah. When I told you about it, you said you knew. Yeah. You were like, I looked it up online, and because I was like, do you know what? I was like, do you know?
Yeah, no, I knew. Well, so I didn't know that twin soul and twin flame were the same. And soulmate. I couldn't distinguish the difference, and I was like, we are something.
There's something.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess at this point you're probably starting to become more spiritual, maybe, because you're starting to realize.
Most definitely.
Sure.
So I have a voice that I have started to channel, and he has told me that his name is Savior, and he has helped us. He has helped us like tremendously. Like when I need something, I like relax and I channel, and I've let him like take over my hands and my body to like physically heal her.
So he'll do Reiki on me.
Yeah.
You say he, but he is not a she or
yeah,
he.
no.
Yep.
We've channeled that.
You guys get it. Sweet.
Yeah, it's energy.
Yes.
Masculine,
And we've
feminine
channeled that
energy,
he
for
is
sure.
the perfect balance of masculine and
Masculine,
feminine.
feminine, yep.
And
Because
basically,
he's us.
that's what happens with twin flames. You're balancing your heart, mind, yin yang energy within, as within, so without, to create a healthier balance within the world. So, a lot of these energies are balanced energies once they've ascended, right? And that's why you see there is a lot of same-sex couples that are twin flames, because it's not really, it's just a show. It's not about male or female. It has nothing
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's actually a question I want to get to is, were you guys both interested in same-sex before? Because I know with myself, my twin is a female as well, but a masculine energy, and I have never been interested in women.
Wow. Yeah.
And so when I met this connection, I was like, what is going on? Because it was beyond what someone looked like. It was just, you feel it right here in your heart, right?
Yes, and you're like, oh my God, yeah. You can talk to that. That's a great question.
Yeah, no, I have like always been more masculine since like a child, and I had a hard time with that and what my family had to say about it. So I pushed that down as I like grew into an adult, and it was only until like I met her that I like started showing my masculinity, because I didn't feel like I like had a choice. Like it just came forward, And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that I had this pushed down so far. Like, I didn't even know that it was there and needed to come forward until I met her. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, it was like, it was fun because, like, she had, like, this giant makeover that one day, after, like, a big talk, she was like, why am I wearing this? Like, why is my hair like this?
Why is my hair long? I hate this.
Yeah, she was like, I hate everything in the closet. And we went through and purged everything. And
Wow.
it was cool because I got
my closet emptied. And
Yeah.
she got a lot of new clothes and I had nothing.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Well, a complete identity change, like a shift. Like you really went there.
Yeah.
Without fear, you just did it. That takes a lot of courage.
That's
yeah, it was really hard.
Well, and I mean, but it was so obvious that you were like miserable in like the clothes that you were. It was just, it was like once it clicked, it was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time dressing myself every morning up until like 6 months ago.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of funny because with the empathic energy, our job, because we've got that empathic feminine heart energy.
Yes.
Our job is to really bring forth that masculine energy and not fear it.
Right. Yeah.
And then with the more masculine mind energy, their job is to get out of that fear and break into their heart space, right? Really their truth and passion. So it's quite funny how that was kind of the initial stage to this connection, right?
The identity shift.
The identity shift that took
Unbelievable.
place.
Yeah.
It was really. I can't even believe that.
You must have felt like you were half alive, like a zombie, like.
I did.
That's why you were in
really
therapy.
hard time.
Is that why? Like.
Yeah, I had a really hard time, and it's crazy because I like didn't even know that it was there for so long because I pushed it. Yeah, because I pushed it down for so long. So.
Did you? Yeah, you would have had like.
So you kind of pushed down your attraction towards a female, like same sex.
Yes. Yeah. That and also the way that I wanted to dress and wanted to look and act was pushed down.
Yeah.
Since like a very young age of like 7, 8, I was pushing that down.
Because of family, just what's expected of you. Your environment.
Yeah, mainly my mom.
Yeah.
Just telling me like you're going into middle school, like you can't wear basketball shorts, like you can't do that. Like all the other girls aren't doing that. Like that's like weird. So.
And you know what? It's funny. You can see the shift taking place like on the planet right now. It's really coming into full swing since the new age of 2012 when the Mayan calendar ended and everything, and the new age came in. And you see a lot of the younger generation really being more conscious of that. Like even my daughter is bringing new ideas about polyamorous relationships. And her not having she's interested in both male and female. And it's kind of beyond what someone really looks like.
Wow. And how old is she?
She's 14.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
I don't even think I knew what a polyamorous relationship was when I was 14.
Multiple, yeah. Now it's like this awareness, but our world is changing, thank God, right? But even here in Canada, our laws have changed. Like, the Charter of Rights in Canada now accepts all, like the transgender, like all the identity, whereas before it was not recognized. Now they have all the rights. Like it's that's unprecedented. Like 10 years ago, it's unprecedented that this is happening. Like we're breaking barriers up here, and
we're starting to
it's pretty amazing.
Beyond the physical,
that's great.
Right?
But that's the shift that we're seeing worldwide. Like we're hoping that happens, where this but it is happening. It is happening globally, worldwide, where there's more acceptance.
I love
and
that.
tolerance.
Yeah, I love that. It starts here.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think it definitely starts within each person, and as we collectively get, more healed, then we can start breaking the barriers like you're talking about. I mean, that's the goal, and I think it's so important we think it's so important for twins to come together because as they heal, they raise the collective, and they start showing other twins.
The faster and faster more twins will find each other.
That they're safe to do it even, like, Whereas before it was clandestine. You weren't safe to do it, right? Now
Yes, it's safe, yeah.
And a lot of these twin connections are breaking a lot of the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So many different things, like big gaps in ages.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Just different societal beliefs. You know, my one friend her twin is from India.
Wow.
Or Pakistan, sorry. And just the way they treated women, and then she's very... So there's always all these different barriers and blocks that are being basically shed, you know? And that's the purpose of these twin flame connections, is to break all those barriers.
Well, we're entering into the divine feminine. Our world is going to shift, right? We're heading into a more compassionate time, hopefully. That's what they're saying. I mean...
Creating from that divine.
We need it because our world has gone. We've ruined our Earth, right?
Yeah,
the compassion energy is coming in now. We need to heal the Earth, the planet, the us. You know, it's definitely shifting. I mean, our world is changing. I mean, sometimes I think, is it? But no, it definitely is. When laws change, that's a big deal.
Yeah, the frequency is super raising. Do you guys follow the Schumann Resonance at all? The frequency of the Earth?
The Schumann Resonance,
yeah, it's going up. I have like a saved bookmark to the website, and I look at it.
There's a hum. It's like
a hum
that the Earth makes. The Schumann Resonance, yeah.
I think it typically fluxes like at between 70 to like 30-ish right now, but it was 7.8, which is like so low and so depressing.
Yes,
like,
it was
so
for a while, especially during the time when your president was elected. But anyways,
yes,
but you know, he shifted. But you know what? He's shifted a lot worldwide.
Yeah,
he's our catalyst. So we need that to happen, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
But
because it's so blunt and in your face that it's making people become more aware and conscious
of what we don't like.
Yeah.
But the negative male energy, the negative aspects.
It's almost like the biggest trigger that someone could have. Everyone's triggered by this, and y'all deal with these triggers because they're coming up.
It's forcing the issues. What's happening? So people have. It's forcing protests worldwide. It's forcing women. Women are on the street protesting like never. Like it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a big deal. We need to see that. Like I think that's we're going to see a lot of changes. And to tell you the truth, I saw that. I'm like, he's going to bring about a lot of issues within all of us about what he represents.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like an awake thing to say rather than like, oh, I'm so mad or it's so great.
He's bringing about
it's going to bring up issues and I love it. That's such an awake thing
we need to see. It's like looking in the mirror. Like, what issues do I have with it? What is it about? Yeah, he rubs people the wrong way for a reason because it's in us. We need to change how we think about things. And that's sometimes why we need to see shadow. We need to see all that.
Yeah.
So we need to understand where the dysfunction is
happening for people.
And Lydia, for you, were you interested in same-sex relationships or?
So yes, okay. So I was really like unsure. I had only dated men ever. And I had one experience with like a female crush where I was like, okay, you nodded your head. Did that happen to you too?
Well, I often wonder, like I might have had one. I'm like, yeah, never mind. Anyways.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to make anyone confess.
No, that's cool.
I had a situation where I had like this giant crush on a girl and was really confused about it, like for a super long time. And that was the first time that I was like, oh wow, like maybe I am open to both, but I really genuinely I wasn't attracted to like femininity, like, and that's what I didn't realize. So I kept getting caught between like, do I like women or like, and do I like guys because I like certain types of women, but only like one or two types. And in the Midwest, there's not a ton of masculine women. I didn't really go to high school with any masculine women, so I didn't know anyone who fit this like type that I had. So I wasn't ever challenged around it until in college, and then I was like, oh wow, now my radar is on. But even after that, I didn't really date any women. I didn't try to, but I knew that it was like in my heart that I was open to it and that I could be attracted to it. And so when Maria showed up, I was like, oh yeah, I see the masculinity, and this has happened before. So that relationship really prepared me to be open to her. Yeah, as all of our relationships prepare us to be open to our twin. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Every relationship, I think, even the smallest ones have. Yeah, everyone you come in contact with.
It's preparing you, right?
Yeah.
Different aspects in you.
Yeah.
Brings it out.
Yeah. What would you guys say? Did you have any outer? I mean, you had your job that created a little bit of trauma and obstacles for you. Was there any other exterior difficulties that kind of came in between the connection?
Yeah.
What's the tolerance level down there in Kansas?
Say that again?
What's the tolerance level in Kansas, for example?
Not high.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that, because I'm curious.
Do you want to talk to that? You've been harassed on the side of the street.
Yeah, no, I've definitely, like, had people, like, yell things at me just because of, like, the way I'm looked and, like, the way I dress and, like, how my hair is, like, on, like, the side of the street. Like, in the middle of the day on, like, a Saturday, people just, like, yelling out their windows. Like, it's probably happened, like, 5 times within, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like,
It's fear.
like, people have yelled, like,
you know?
Fear.
Yeah, like, dyke, faggot,
which is, like, so heartbreaking.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nice.
So, yeah, that's how
it's horrible as a society how we could even ever think to treat someone that way.
Right?
It's fear.
Yeah. They have a lot of blocks.
It's
They
fear-based.
have a lot of blocks.
100%.
And like, someone else caused that within them.
Yes.
So.
Maybe they're the ones that are fighting.
Right.
Sometimes they're the ones that are resisting the...
Right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, parent figures, I think, are always attachment wounds for people. So, I mean, I think for every twin flame, we've channeled that for every person who was not born to a twin flame couple, which most people aren't. The end processing of, like, the wounds is, like, the attachment to, like, your parents, like, mother or father, whatever. So that's definitely been, like, we've hit up against that. But I think that every twin is, like, when they come together, will hit those wounds. And then once twin soul parents have kids, they won't maybe have that type of uncomfortable experience with their attachment at the end of their wounds.
And Jonah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she has a son.
So I have a son, and which is really crazy because when I had him, I didn't feel like I had, like, the motherly, like, connection. I honestly more acted like dad. Like, I was, like, the fun and, like, not really good with, like, the emotional and, like, the attachment and the stuff like that. I acted more like a dad, and I was always really confused about it. And Jonah is, like, attached to you. And I definitely think he sees you as, like, the motherly, like, figure.
I actually thought he was your child when I seen the pictures. That's
I'm sorry, what was that?
I actually thought it was Lydia's child when I saw the pictures.
Wow.
Because of the connection, the connection.
Yeah, no, it's totally hers.
He wakes up and he asks for her. If he is feeling sad, he goes to her. And when he, like, wants someone to play, he, like, comes and grabs.
He sings my name all day long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? But he was really behind with, like, talking and some other things before they moved in.
Before we moved in, he did not talk. He was really shy, and we moved in, and it was a matter of, like, weeks. And he changed into, like, a totally different kid. He was talking, he was outgoing, and I think he has some kind of like psychic
Yes.
ability. He will be sitting on our couch, and if me and her are being really positive and in a really good mood, he will like lean back and he'll go, "Look, guys, a rainbow,"
and points to the ceiling.
"Look, guys, clouds,"
and he'll point. He's 3. He's
Yeah.
like little, and he's like, "Look, a rainbow over there," and we're like, "Yes, do it,
Yeah.
rainbow, that's cool."
Yeah.
So lots of things have come outside of just the twin flame dynamic between us, but how it's affected him, I think, is really cool, because it's this like, I mean, it's like a perfect balance, and then like for a child to get to experience like a household of like perfect balance. Granted, we're not quite finished processing all of our wounds, but like we're close, and you can see that it like really impacts him in a positive way.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
He's really happy. He walks around and he tells people, "I'm happy and I have 2 moms."
Yeah.
That's
I do.
amazing.
Amazing. What would you say were some of the biggest challenges with the blocks that you guys had to deal with? And some of the outcomes of processing those blocks. Did you see results? Maybe even with heightened sensitivity, or just
I have spent like multiple times like processing with you for like at least an hour to 2 hours, and right when I come out of it, I will notice a difference. Like I've like not been able to stand up without like falling, because I have had so much release and I felt like a totally different person just after like a couple hours of processing, and like trying to stand up and feeling dizzy and getting physically sick and just floaty. And I mean, like, it's really progressive, but anytime we like process, I feel like we do like a really good job, and it's usually really intense.
Yeah.
And once it starts to come out, it just goes.
Yeah.
What kind of techniques do you guys use?
Lots of them.
Yeah.
We have a lot of techniques we've had to figure out.
Reiki, emotion code, just crying with each other,
essential oils.
Yeah.
We use sage. We use Young Living. Plug for them. Love them. The Reiki, emotion code. Really, just like I don't know. I think
triggering each other. We trigger each other, and we're really good about like not blaming the other person.
Yeah.
And when she does something to piss me off, I like turn and look at myself, and I'm like, what am I doing? Because if she's doing something that's making me mad, I'm probably doing it too and needing to work through something.
100%. Yeah, I think we always, my mantra has been, and I don't know if yours is, this is what I say in my head, I'm always kind of like I'm upset, and what's that feeling about for me? Like if I'm angry or pissed off at you or disappointed, before I jump to take it out on you, what is that about for me? And if I can figure it out, then I'll talk about it with her. But like it's always about us, because we're feeling the emotion. So the emotion is coming from here, and that's where we go to figure it out. So I try and do that a lot, and that has helped us. And I think you do that too. You totally do that. Yeah. So,
have you guys had any past life experiences that have come up?
No, we haven't. We've channeled that past lives aren't necessarily real. So I know that totally knocks a lot of people because I believed in past lives. Like before, like I honestly like thought that I had a past life as I'm not even gonna say, but I thought I had a past life, and then we channeled with
we channeled that we didn't have past lives.
Okay, yeah, we specifically don't, but other people maybe do. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So no to that.
It could be that you guys aren't even from here.
That would be awesome.
That's the other thing. Not everybody's. I know it sounds weird, but not everybody was human. Like you have other possibilities that you may have come literally from somewhere else, and now you're down here. But
totally right. Yeah.
So there's that possibility.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. I would love to know. Yeah, maybe.
If you both feel like you haven't been here before and you're just visiting, It could very well be.
Sometimes I say to myself, I'm like, this earth really sucks. Why is everyone so
probably,
sad
that's my
here?
feeling with that when you said that. I'm like, you're probably not from here. That's something I learned. Like, not everybody's from here. I had to really grasp that. I learned that in Reiki a little bit. Like, not everybody's from Earth. Some are. They're the first time around here. They're coming from somewhere else.
I would love to know if you guys have anyone like comment or message here.
Your Palisades and all the, all the different. I'm thinking California, Palladians. Yeah, there's so many possibilities that. Yeah. But often when people don't feel like they belong here, it's because they don't. They're just visiting.
Yeah.
But anyways, I looked into it. I've been reading about it, but yeah, it's a possibility. I keep it open.
Yeah. No, I do too. If you have anyone reach out to you and tell you that they think they know what planet we're from, I would love to know.
Or star system somewhere.
Yeah. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I don't know, did I answer all your questions? You said what were our biggest things that we went through. I don't know if I answered that all. Yeah.
It's interesting because the basic outline of the twin flame connection and the healing that they go through is similar, but the stories are also different.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And what do you think? So basically, you heard the twin flame. Who told who that? And when did you guys kind of confess to, I think this is a twin flame, or you're my twin flame? When did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
How much from the time you met till when it kind of came out? How long was it?
Yeah. Do you know? No, you don't. Okay, I think it was. That's funny. I think it. Yeah. So I think it was the end of November.
It was really fast.
It was from like Thanksgiving in November to December 23rd, because I had the voice come to me, and I maybe for like a week was like, oh, that's crazy, like I don't know what that is, and then I was like, no, that was like pretty serious, like once you know, and I looked it up, and I actually had a friend of mine who I worked with who believes that she was married to her twin flame, and then they got divorced. But she and I had already been having some conversations about how she, identified with him as a twin flame. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a safe person to talk to about this. Like, I'm having this really crazy, epiphany about this client. And that was validating. But
that was before I had even known or looked it up.
Yeah. But then I said to her,
probably halfway through November, 14th, 15th, is when we started to really have, the mind reading and the crazy stuff. And that's when I looked it up. And it was, after I looked it up, it was like a matter of a week.
Mm-hmm. So we both looked it up and figured it out separately.
Yeah, I called it, I was calling it superpowers. Because I was like, I am reading this girl's mind. Mm-hmm. And she is telling me that I'm playing a certain song on guitar and I'm playing it. And things like that were happening that were really, really crazy. And there was one time, so she was in her office, and I went to leave session, and I stopped at the gas station, and I pumped gas, and I was like, I need to stay right here. And I was like, she's gonna call me with a problem. Something is gonna happen, and I'm gonna need to be there to help her. And I sat there, and 10 minutes went by, and my phone went off, and she called me and was like, I locked my keys in a room, and I need help, and I knew, and that was a big click for me, where I was I went to drive, and my body physically was being ripped back into this parking lot, and I was like, I can't even drive, I'm being forced to stay here.
And it was really unusual that time, because never, are you really supposed to call a client for help? But I had no one else, and I was like, well, maybe she's just still in the parking lot. Yeah. Because it was the night before Thanksgiving, and there was no one else there to help me get my keys, because I was locked. So I called her, and she was able to help me really quickly. But I mean, it was definitely one of those synchronicity moments where like this was like meant to be.
From the time that we were like texting and both acknowledged that we were like a twin flame, it was a matter of like 3 hours and we were on the phone just like diving into it.
Yeah. And before that had happened, I was like, okay, we need to terminate. Like this is like it. Like there can't be your therapist anymore. And then I was like, I can't be a therapist, period, to pursue this. So I called the State Board of Missouri and told on myself. And I was like, look, I'm dating the client and take me off the list because I'm done with all of this and I'm doing something else with my life. And I wanted to do it and I wanted to do it with as much integrity as possible. And if that's a rule you have and I'm breaking it, let me just remove myself. And that was really hard. I was super, super anxious about that. I went and saw my therapist before I made that call. I was really
That's
scared.
a big, yeah, you overcame a lot. Wow.
Yeah, that was huge.
That's how it is.
So you said, what was the hardest thing? That was
it would be.
Yeah.
So it was probably about 3 months into this connection when you guys started to realize it was the twin flame and kind of
over a year.
You had the dream. She had the dream after 3 months, but we didn't have twin flame come to our head for
a year
and about 4 months. Yeah. So it was a while.
Yeah, so that probably explained a lot of things once you guys recognized.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because you guys went for over a year with having all these experiences.
Yes.
And
they started off really like it got more intense as the year went on
as well, right?
Yeah, and then it started getting into like I knew a text was coming in, that was I knew how she was feeling, and I could feel it from far away, and I would be anxious for no reason, and I knew it was because of you, and things like that started happening more towards the end. So
the end of that year and 4 months, yeah.
Your higher selves were talking before you guys were.
Oh, yes.
Your higher selves.
Yes. Well, we have the same higher self, technically. So he was always doing his diddling. So.
Very good. That's beautiful. Well, you guys are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you're not in an area that's, like, we're in Canada and we're okay.
Yeah. It's more open.
But I always wonder in the U.S., is it the same? Like, I don't know. I don't get the feeling that it is.
No. Right. And I think that's something that I keep telling myself is like we're in a really
very special.
We're in a really like negative wave of the world, if you will call it a wave. I mean, even within the United States, we're in like the Bible Belt of
downtown Kansas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best place to be.
Oh yeah.
Who is a lesbian, especially the masculine one.
Right.
It's not fun.
So, but it's really encouraging to know that that's not the representation of everyone, and you guys are a perfect example. I mean, literally every time we talk to like spiritual people, anyone who even knows about twin flames, we're like,
Thank you.
Somebody gets it. Yes, somebody gets it. So thank you for being you and being like,
And it's funny because a lot of these connections are being put into these really low
difficult
vibe
places.
Areas
Yeah.
It needs to be though.
It has to be that way. You're being
where
sent
we
there.
live needs the most help.
Yes. But you're
placed
being
here.
sent there or placed there. You have a purpose. You definitely have a purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I saw when we were reading. I was like, these people are going to do some big stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys
Thank
have
you.
any
Thanks.
specific directions yet that you kind of want to head in with your healing work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you want to talk?
Say the question again.
What kind of healing work do you want to go? What direction do you want to go in the healing work?
I just want to help other twin flames come together and not run from each other.
Yeah. And the baby stuff.
Oh, yeah. I also, I've always worked with, like, infants, probably, like, 9 years now, and I want to incorporate, like, Reiki with sleep training, and sleep training, like, newborns, and bringing in, like, emotional healing through, like, spirituality and Reiki and emotion code. and helping people out that way. As well as like doing twin flame work with other twin flame couples. I think that's like that's my goal for sure.
Twin flame coaching.
Yeah, twin flame coaching and babies.
Yeah, she's always really loved babies. But so, and for me, and I think there's a really perfect way that it'll all mesh together, I'm sure, between us. But definitely like a united business of some sort. I have like a coaching business, but it feels like it's very much still evolving into whatever this big spirituality thing will be. So what I have for my business now, I feel like I don't even want to like claim, because I'm not bloomed like all the
It's kind of what we need to do to get into the next. It's like the first step into like where we want to go.
Well, you're being prepared for your next steps. Right?
Yes, we are. We are. That's what we're doing right now.
Totally.
I always think children, like your child, there's sensitive children that are born now. A lot of these children, they need a lot of help. Because they're going to feel alone.
There's a lot of
they might be going to school and they feel alone. They feel weird and different. My daughter went through that. I have an 11-year-old now. She's a very sensitive child. She hears things, sees things, but they come into the world like that. And we need coaches for children even, like to help them deal with their uniqueness, right? Because your son, like, they're bringing gifts into the world, so they're going to be the next stages of all of this.
Yeah.
Our children are the next wave of all of the enlightenment and...
Yeah.
So
I'm listening to you. My camera's a little wonky.
We had to plug it in.
Sorry, the camera
okay.
got
Ours, I'm surprised we've gotten this far. We usually have technical
No, you're totally right though about the kids, and I like talked with her about like you should open a daycare and
I don't know why I say that with you guys, but I feel like
daycare
helping children like your son, like our kid. There's going to be a need for that. It will show up. All of a sudden, all these kids are just showing up.
And sometimes supports that emotional, compassionate side of the children. You know what I mean? For so long, it hasn't been there. And then you've got all these anxieties and emotional issues that kids are experiencing, and they're going to medication because they don't know how to deal with the energy that they're picking up on.
They're too sensitive.
Because we do have...
Like my child was on the spectrum. The school gave us a really hard time.
Wow.
They wanted her on medication for ADHD and OC. It was really hard. And what it was is she's just a very sensitive child. And they're old. They're old in their head already. They come born. She feels like an adult. So she already sees things that other kids are not. Like, you know what I mean? They need a lot of help. These little kids need help with all of that. I had to figure that out with her. We were both like, I was awakening, but here I have a child awakened. Like, she was helping me, you know what I mean? It was very trying time, though, because the school system was not good about it. They really push medication.
Wow.
Because they don't want to accommodate,
Yeah,
kids that are different.
Energy work takes more involvement, right? More time, more energy. Like, it's getting to the root of issues instead of just self-medicating to make things glaze over so you don't
but kids, children, if they have gifts, they're going to they're in an environment that's very assaulting to them. Very, noisy classroom and the lighting is bright. They just become very, like, they can't cope. They get sensory overload. Like, it was my daughter's. She was actually diagnosed with that, like sensory overload and stuff. So, and she's so bright, and yet they diagnosed her with a learning disability and all this stuff. Turns out she's the brightest kid. She's in robotics. They're sensitive children. We need to know how to work with them and help them. Like,
they're going to break down construct, right?
Yeah, it's very hard for them because they don't fit in. They don't fit in, and do we want them to?
Not in society.
Have you seen our world? Do we want them to fit?
Yeah.
They're going to be the light that brings more light. They shouldn't have to fit in. So I'm seeing that. I'm just saying for business. So you guys, I don't know. Working with children, you have therapy in your background.
Sure. Well, and she works with special needs too. Autistic, Down syndrome, all kinds of stuff like that. And you're totally gifted. I've worked with a little bit of autism, but mostly kids with trauma backgrounds. I spent about 2 years working in a psychiatric residential unit for kids.
Good
so
for you. You're a hero, man.
I
would be crying every day if I
That's amazing.
It was preparing me for like our relationship. I was like, I'm gonna know how to just like handle any kind of escalated situation. I mean, it was all preparatory for twin flame, but at the same time, we definitely really like kids. So you're onto something there.
I feel like that's what you're going to be doing. I don't know, working with kids like that, like just sensitive children. I don't know. They need the help. They need to be supported.
And really, that's helping the future generation.
Oh, they're bringing in the light.
Yeah, no, it is.
And
they're going to bring it about.
Helping those healers to come into their empowerment at a younger age so they can really create that shift in the world, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would love to do, I mean, it takes some money to get a business going.
I know.
I have a lot of
but you know what? It starts like that. It starts small, and one day it just happens, right?
And once you start putting, I mean, being awakened, we understand how powerful our thoughts are. And just putting those thoughts out there is going to create people that come in, like
and,
law of attraction, right?
Yeah, you'll pull it in.
Yeah.
You'll pull it in.
Yeah.
We always attract our reality. So, like, our how we... It'll start with one thought and then another, and then you're going to meet somebody, and next thing you know, right? That's just the way it is. The vortex.
Yeah.
You know, Abram, like, that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, in the vortex, Yeah.
Right?
You guys will be the first people we'll call, because you've been our initial interview, so, hey, maybe something will come from this, even.
Yeah,
so.
Once you start to feel that energy and really put it out there, it'll draw it in. You'll draw on the right people, the right circumstances.
I know.
But you guys have good backgrounds, both of you. I didn't realize that, but that's why I saw it. I'm like, they must have a lot of background with children, but I see you guys working with kids, actually. Like, down the road. Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like, you're going to help maybe people like yourself that they don't, their self-identity maybe, or so many kids are like that, struggling with their identity.
We thought about writing a kid's book about flames. Like a children's book that's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't say it if someone steals it, but we would like to write like a book that's like, when you are like on the playground and you're thinking about like, you know, just like the getting married or falling in love, like you're looking for a specific love connection, and it will feel like this, or it will be like this, just to put the word in kids' head. That way they can manifest it. Because you can't manifest something that you don't even have a concept of.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that really would be amazing to teach from that perspective, like really broad, rather than one-on-one. But, yeah.
Also, one thing with the twin flame connection that I noticed is my twin is everything that I probably wouldn't like in a regular person.
Sure. Yes. That's on purpose.
And that really made me realize how important it is to really do your inner work. Because it has nothing to do with her, and it's all about myself. And so a lot of times in school, children are dealing with the bullies and all these difficult situations. Well, you know what? When we start to really understand why we're triggering each other within the world and realize it all comes down to that inner self and creating healthy boundaries, and really, if kids can start to learn how to do it at a younger age, it's going to shift our world in so many ways, right?
We need more empathy.
Not giving our power away to these people that are trying to take, you know what I mean? The manipulators and the people that are pushing their problems on other people. Well, you know, the empaths, they always take it in like it's their fault. Well, it's not really about anyone's fault. It's about coming back to your self-worth, creating healthy boundaries, and then it stops the bullies from acting that way, and then they have to eventually look at themselves, right?
Yes.
So incorporating that, right? That's all a part. That's a part of the twin flame connection too.
Yeah,
right? Because
it
it's a
is.
healthy
Yeah,
boundaries.
it all.
It's coming back to love for yourself. It's
As you guys said, you worked together.
you work
together. You cried together. You worked through all your blocks and things. That's brave.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people aren't brave. That's a lot. It's vulnerability. Like Brene
Yeah.
Brown, vulnerability. I love
That's
her.
I've read her stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
she's great.
she
She
gives me
is
the
a
chills.
huge person. Brene Brown. No,
The shame
she talks
expert.
about shame.
She's the shame expert.
Shame.
Yeah.
And on vulnerability, that's her thing. She studied shame for 20 years. I watched every TED Talk she's ever done, all of her books. Even our company that I work for sent us all a thing to watch on Brene Brown. I'm like, I already watched it. Like, I know the shame.
I already
She's
know
the shame
about
expert.
this. Yeah, Brene Brown is amazing. I learned quite a bit about her when I was getting my master's, and she's gold when it comes to shame. I mean, that's the root of every like negative emotion. Truly, when you pull it down, shame is at the bottom of everything.
Yes.
It's about you. It's never about what anyone else is doing. Someone is triggering the shame wound that was planted from somewhere or something. But yeah, she's awesome. You guys are so cool to talk and have people know talking about.
It's just good to get like other people's stories that have been through this experience, and to meet people that have came through it and come into union, because that's not an easy process to get through. So thank you so much.
You're lucky. You guys are both
sharing.
so fortunate that you found each other. You're going to do big things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what else we would be doing if we didn't do this.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if we were to run, we would just both be like,
Suppressed.
what would we do every day? Like, there's no point in doing anything besides this. So,
that's how we're kind of feeling. Yeah. Thank you guys for reaching out to us. This
so
is
much.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care,
I
guys.
hope you too. Bye.
Bye.